Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to round 2 of season 22 here with Invictus Racing League. It's a pleasure and a privilege, as always, to be here for what has been a fascinating opening couple of rounds here in the Championship. Not just in Tier 2, of course, but in Tier 1 from last night. I'm Jack TM53, your commentator, as normal, for the Tier 2 action in this Championship. And delighted to say that, first of all, joining me tonight, alongside me in the comments box, is ARL. How are you doing, ARL?
Yeah, good as always. How you doing, Jack?
Yeah.
Another race weekend, and let's get going.
Yeah, let's get going. We're about to get underway. It looks a little bit overcast at the moment, but I'm also delighted to say that joining us in tonight, and hopefully for all the other rounds this season as well, is our Tier 1 reigning champion from season 21. It's Bjorn. How are you doing, Bjorn?
Yeah, thank you, Jack. It's great to be back in the commentary box. Last time, of course, was the F2 Mini Championship a few seasons ago.
Yeah.
I've missed it, and I'm very happy to be back.
Oh, okay. It's really great to have you here, and it'd be nice for myself at ARL to be able to have a little breather from time to time because we always pick up from one another. So having you on board is really fantastic, and I'm looking forward tonight, gents. It's a circuit that it's steeped in Formula One history. Obviously, it's been around for over 30 years. First event back in 1991. You know, there's synonymous imagery of Senna and Mansell going down that main straight, and the 2016 crash between Rosberg and Hamilton and the Mercedes way through at turn number 4. But what are you both looking forward to tonight?
Well, with having 3 members in the commentary box, so we'll try not to stumble over each other. But no, it's continuing on from that dynamic of Tier 2, and that we've seen consistently through last season. You know, every race, it's just there's always something going different, and I think that's the beauty of Tier 2. And once again, we have a near full grid. So yeah, but definitely after Bahrain, seeing the pace set out there, now this is where the drivers are going to start to, think about the longer game. I'm hoping for some great action as usual. But I'll pass it over to Bjorn.
Thank you. Well, the season's already been underway for a week now, so I think hopefully everybody's in the rhythm by now, and I'm really excited to see the different strategies from the loads of drivers attending tonight. For Spain, it's not the easiest track to overtake, so you have to make the difference with the strategies. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, strategy is going to be really important. It's something that Jordan and Mikey were commentating on last night for Tier 1, and I was watching the stream live. It was really good to see you both racing and the plethora of strategies that are out there. Obviously, Owen decided to 3-stop before he decided to retire in the end, but there's quite a number of different strategies available to us. I think I'll go to Bjorn on this one to start with, because I'm going to obviously get IRL to do a lap with somebody in a moment. But Bjorn, what would you say the strategy is for today?
Well, seeing yesterday's tyre, I would say a one-stop is definitely possible. Mediums hard mediums preferred. I think the hards, they don't really dip, so the long game on the hards is really crucial. You can stay out for a very long time, and maybe even go to the softs at the end. But we'll see how that unfolds.
Yeah, absolutely. Alex, who are you going to pick up on today, do you reckon? Who's your flying lap going to be with?
Well, whoever's coming up to the line, and well, at the moment, Mikey Rudd setting the newest pole position, or provisional, and I say that, Barrett takes it over 13-0, but who's starting a lap? I believe Kent is coming around. Yes, so the Williams driver. So, coming into turn 14, just before you start your lap, it's a bit of a decisive one. When do you go through into 7th gear? Do you stay in 7th or do you go into 8th? But anyway, that's all done now. He's got the DRS and into turn 1 he goes. Pick your braking point, get to the right hand side as soon as you can, swoop it over to the left. You can take a little bit of curb without unsettling the rear. Now the right hander, long swooping right hander of turn 3, deploys a bit of traction, and it's all nicely through here. Down into turn 4, takes a bit of the curve, watch out on the grass on the left hand side, it comes at you quick and fast. Down into turn 5, so easy to lock that inner front tyre, but he keeps it nice and clean. A little bit of a wobble for Ken, but otherwise it's okay. Now into 7 and 8. Watch the sausage go both on the left and the right. Can really unsettle your car. Through into 9. Can he stay flat? I think just a little lift from the Williams driver. He's got a few cars ahead. They pull out to the left hand side, so nothing going through there. Now into 10. Again, a bit of a swooping corner. A little bit of a fight for the traction. But he gets it nice and through. Then yet again, another swooping corner. There's a lot of swooping corners on this track. Turn 12. Traction alright. And now it's pretty much near flat. Turn 13. Absolutely fine. Turn 14. Little bit of a lift. But it's just alright on the first flying lap, and it's a 12.8, so he puts himself into second place. So who else is currently on the lap? I think Aston Martin coming into the pits. That should be Nitro Gas, and it is, but I think certainly the McLaren duo this weekend, they're going to want to have to try and get a bit of a boost from Bahrain. It wasn't the most amount of pace seen from them, but they just kept it clean, and I think that's what they're going to just be trying to do. But they're going to certainly be looking to have some good results, hopefully.
Yeah, the two IRC boys, for Bruce and Jordan, they know where they've got to improve. I know that I was chatting with Jordan last week about the settings on his wheel. He's still trying to adapt to the game realistically. He's fighting the car quite a lot, and he's trying to make it feel a bit more natural for him. Obviously, being a rally driver, Jordan prefers to have a car that slides a little bit, but it's not doing it in the natural way. I am watching the last week's race winner Pars just go across the line to do a 112.6, and he's a driver who I'm sure you'd both probably welcome into Tier 1 because he's available on a Monday.
Yeah, absolutely.
It depends where he gets put into Tier 1. If it's behind, no problem. If it's ahead, maybe I might have a few questions. But no, he's definitely showed the pace well in Bahrain. But can he keep it the entirety of the season? But so far, it looks to be that way. But Hülkenberg, strong lap, only just 10 thousandths ahead through. So yeah, Hülkenberg, it's got advantage, but we did see this where the Williams and the Alpines look strong at one point, but then all of a sudden it just flips.
What are you seeing out there, Bjorn, at the minute? What have you been watching?
I've been watching Maris actually set her first lap time for 1:14.0. Looks like the fine lap time for her. Right behind her teammate, it's the cat. As we were saying about Pars, I think he's definitely got the pace to be a top Tier 1 contender, actually. I'd say top. Let's keep that to top 10 for now. Yeah, let's see if he can pull off consistency and maybe get promoted next season.
Yeah, let's see if that happens. We hope that we can. I've noticed that DXT Matty's having a few issues. I've just had to re-invite Matty in for a second time, which is less than ideal. I hope Matty can get that sorted out in the Red Bull. It does look at the moment as if the second Aston Martin is not going to get in. I'll wait for the last few minutes, Bjorn, before I invite you into the lobby, just so that you can see it live at least.
Yeah, of course, no worries. It's a bit confusing. I'm hearing you guys talk about turn 7 and 8, but then I look at the screen and we're in turn 5. But should be alright.
So it's really nice. One thing you touched upon there as well is it's really nice to see Maras back out on circuit. She finished F123, or rather F124, really strongly with the F2 race victory that she got around Zandvoort. It was really nice to see her up there. Didn't buy F125 straight away. I had to wait for a little bit. Missed round 1, but really good to see the number 40 back. Was a big stable part of F124. Towards the end, was consistently in all the races, so it's really nice to see her out on circuit. But we're already halfway through the session, Alex. It's going quick.
Oh, it always does. But yeah, for Maris as well, that was the first lap of the season, really. And so to be only just a tenth off teammate is good stuff. So yeah, but like I said, or like you said, session going fast as Madman now puts in the lap. He moves up to P8. Yeah, who else is going out on the lap? We've got 8 minutes to go. Drivers will probably come for a second run here, second set of tyres. The question is, do you want to save a set for the race? That's a possibility, but the softs could struggle with a high downforce, high deg track. It's a bit unlikely, but you should see around 3 sets used in this session.
Yeah, we've got Liner Griesby who's going on to a lap. He's done a 14.7 and is his initial flying effort. His teammate Mikey just a 10th in front of him. I have a feeling Liner Griesby can go a little bit faster than that. Bjorn, I want to come to you actually. I want to chat with you about yesterday's race briefly, because you were the race leader after a barnstorming start, but turn 14 decided it didn't want to be that friendly to you, did it? As Kent goes quickest.
Yeah. No, turn 14 did not want to be friendly to me indeed. I still haven't checked back the replay. I still don't know why I spun. I did not have my ears on, as the stream suggested. But unfortunately, yeah, I lost a lot of positions, but I think I managed my way back pretty well. Turn 13, it's a pretty tricky corner of the curve. It's just very random if you lose grip or not. But normally it is quicker to touch the curb, but it's quite risky, especially in qualifying for higher speeds.
As we see Matty Rudd just going across the line, he's starting his next flying lap in the Ferrari at the moment. The Scuderia are hoping for a strong result from the Rudd brothers in 8th and 13th at the moment. It's a surprise to see Ruddo down outside of the points at the moment. I'm sure he'll be quick enough to correct that. Matty again having some connection trouble as Pars goes even faster with a 12.3. That's highlighting his credentials to potentially race as a reserve next Monday.
Well, I bet I've got to have a look up front then, the field then potentially, but yeah, no, he's really on some good form. He's really going to try and kick-start this season off after that victory in Bahrain. And of course, he is leading the Drivers' Championship, which will come across later. But Berra now puts in a lap time into P3, so he's on the second row of the grid. But 6 minutes to go now. This is going to be where we start to see a lot of drivers come into the pits and, you know, wait a bit for the best of the track conditions. That's assuming the conditions are going to get cooler potentially rather than hotter, because of course it's quite a talking point on this game is about the track conditions and the temperatures, because those really affect the tyre deck and the performance, especially on the soft when you push it to the absolute limit in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just comparing the lap times that have been set right now. Of course, there's still 5 minutes left to go, so the quickest lap times are still coming for Pars. A 1:12.307. Yesterday in Tier 1 qualifying, that would have put him in P7, in front of Jeremy Clarkson, and just behind ARL. So maybe you're just about lucky enough to see me get middle.
And that's assuming he's not going to improve anymore in that time. So instead of looking in my mirrors, I've got to look in front next time round. But yeah, no, he's, like I said, he's really up there. But it's not out of the question though. Kent's still not far out from this. Same with Berra and Hulkenberger. Actually, I don't think we've seen Hulkenberger do another lap, if I'm not mistaken. So I think he's just sitting on that 12.6 from the initial run. For Hulkenberger, so how much more time has he got left in the bag? Ruddo, obviously, he did do a lap. He's up into P6, so he'll be happy with that. Good improvement from him. But I assume he's going to dive into the pits, and he will on this episode. Like I said, now this is the moment where all the drivers are going to start to put that final set of tyres on. But who is on that lap? I think Darrell is currently on that lap.
Yeah, he just hung on to that at turn 9, didn't he? Go on, Al.
Yeah, no, he just the 10th up, coming through the final sector. You can gain so much time through here, but at the same time, you can lose so much. But get on the traction as much as you can through out of turn 12. 13 practically flat. Then we come into the final corner. It takes a lot of curve, and in fact the grass, but the rear absolutely holding with no issue. And he'll improve to P14. So if he was 4 tenths quicker on that lap, but only P14 for him. Nevertheless, it's an improvement.
Yeah, settles himself onto the 8th row of the grid for the time being, but there's still time for him to do another lap. Matty is having all sorts of trouble. He's got enough invites to get back in, but it is a bit of a shame that he's having those difficulties. Madman is also on a lap, so the Racing Bulls are trying to get themselves into the point scoring positions. Madman is currently in the last of the points paying positions. So Spud bangs in a lap time to go up to 13th. That's a really solid lap time from the Alpine man. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. Still track evolution to come. Madman just approaching turn number 10, slamming down through the gears on the brakes. He's matching his best time so far. So for Madman, he's going to have to try and line up the last few corners if he can. See how he gets on through these last 2 corners at 13 and 14. I'm going to be keeping an eye out on where everybody else is in relation to him on the race circuit, but he's going to come across the line, and it's a 9,000th of a second improvement, but sadly for him, he remains in 12th place. With 2.5 minutes to go in the session, gents. The outlaps are just starting to tick over, aren't they?
Everyone's preparing for the final lap now. Really excited to see who's going to take forward. Still very close as usual at the top. See, it's about the top 7 within a second.
Yeah, the top 4 are looking impressive, aren't they? You know, Hulkenberger's get back to Nitro Gas is 6 tenths, and Nitro's no slouch. Hulkenberger, just to come back to your point, Alex, before about not seeing a second lap, it's because Hulkenberger messed up the second lap, so abandoned it and has been in the pits ever since.
Right, so that explains it, but no, it must have meant that first lap was pretty good though, from Hulkenberger. But this is the moment now. 3 drivers have come out for a new set in the top 4. The only driver at the moment is Paz. Is he coming out anytime soon? At the moment, it suggests not. And in fact, as I say that, here comes the Red Bull out onto the track. So this is a fight, but I think the first man who's on a lap right now is Ken. Or is he on another build-up lap potentially? Because he's not on an out lap.
Yeah, he's not using battery, is he?
So this is a little bit of a strategic call from Ken. So going for a double warm-up lap, could this be the way? So trying something different as he moves aside for the Ferrari.
Oh, Mikey in the wall. Sorry to interrupt, but he lost it through turn number 2 and speared off into the barrier. I'm amazed he hasn't ripped an entire wheel off there. He was fortunate that I was about to invite Bjorn then, and he didn't get to see it.
Mikey is just trying to crawl out of the gravel. Luckily, there's no cars near him, so he's not really going to hamper anybody. But who else is actually on a lap currently? In fact, Berra is on a lap out of the top 4. Berra trying to see what he can do. He's not exactly a 10th up at the moment, but he's going to need to try and find something more in this sector. Full commitment through 9, looks comfortable. DRS enabled. The battery absolutely near empty. What has he got? It's just half a 10th up at the moment, but he could use with that half a 10th up, because I'll jump it up to B2 as it stands. Or would it? Maybe not, but Mikey gets disqualified. That's just probably parking, getting it safe away from the track. But what has Berra got? He comes through the final corner. Car looks stable nicely through there. DRS enabled. All the battery he's got, and it's not enough to deny Kent from the front row.
Of course, Kent's still on his lap. It's an interesting tire strategy. Normally we only see drivers do 2 warm-up laps in the wet, but it's interesting to see Ken choosing to do it also in the dry conditions. We're about to find out in half a minute approximately to see if it pays off.
Hulkenberger across the line, no improvement from him. He's a 10th slower. Pars looked as if he was doing all right on his lap, but we didn't get a split time. He's coming around the final corner now in the Red Bull. This is looking strong, and it is strong. It's 600ths of a second faster. A couple of other cars coming across the line, including a Haas and a Ferrari, who's giving Kent a really nice slipstream towards the start finish, who's 5 thousandths of a second quicker. But it's not enough. The only other driver who probably can get inside the top 10 would have been Madman, but he's coming into the pits, and that is qualifying over. And Pars, the number 97, has got his first pole position in IRL and is looking very strong. A 2/10 gap. That's a nice, comfortable place to be in.
Yeah, no, 100%. That is, he's really solidifying this idea that I'm going to go for the fight of this championship battle. He's continuing it in the best way possible. But did want to say something, Bruce. Quite a good lap from the McLaren driver, considering how it went in Bahrain. So to be up there in the top 10, that's definitely going to be a confidence booster for them, for the McLaren team. Because I know, of course, they'll be definitely working together as a team and trying to get the pace back up. But yeah, no, good stuff from Bruce.
So there we go then. That's the qualifying results. We've got 25 seconds, so I'll do my best to go through 19 drivers. Pars takes pole position then with Kent alongside him on the front row of the grid. Berra and Hulkenberger line up on row 2 with Nitrogash and Clips inside the top 6. Ruddo and It's the Cat, great qualifying from the Haas driver in 8th place with Bruce and O'Stephen. Another good strong effort from O'Stephen inside the top 10. Madman and Matty Rudder on row 6 with Sir Spud, Maras, Darrell, Jordan, Lionel Griesby all set in a lap time. Matty, we saw having his issues, will start in 18th place. And Mikey, who would have had the qualifying statistic to say that he'd started in front of his teammates, his bragging rights have just disappeared by parking in the wrong location. So I'd say less than ideal, gents.
No, it's not the way you want to go from it, but can't lie, Jack. Pretty impressive stuff to get through all those drivers within 20 seconds. So. But yeah, more importantly now we look to the weather. Overcast, fairly overcast it seems, so that is obviously going to point to cooler temperatures, maybe the potential to go for the one stopper maybe.
What do you think, Bjorn? If it's overcast, do you think it's worth going for that one stop?
I think it's always worth trying. Something else, I am on the grid in P20, so I'm just going to do starting up my wheel right now. I'm going to do my best to avoid everyone. So, an interesting game feature.
It's a special Bjorn medical safety car at the back of the.
You are in the Aston Martin as well, so
Yeah,
you are.
To say that. It is a lore correct medical car, just in the wrong shape.
Yeah, it's normally the DBX 707, isn't it? The medical car that they've got at the back, and it's the Vantage that's the safety car typically. Am I right in saying?
Yeah, that typically is the way, but I mean, you hear the drivers saying the safety car, or medical car, well, usually safety car, going too slow. Well, there's your upgrade, lads.
We're going to be seeing Bjorn next week at Brazil, ready. He's going to be in the Aston Martin third car. But whilst we're waiting, obviously, we've got the... just to give you a quick reminder of the drivers' standings from last week, I'll just run through the top 10 after their official race results. Pars did, of course, take the victory. Hulkenberger was second. O'Stephen taking his second podium in 3 seasons, which is great to see in the Mercedes. Ruddo was 4th. Nitrogash was 5th. Ginger Tiger was in 6th place. He's not here tonight, unfortunately. It's the Cat is 7th. Clips in 8th, Kent in 9th, and Matty Rudd in 10th position. The team standings is quite interesting at the moment. So Alpine and Aston Martin are tied on 15 points each. So that's Hulkenberger and Sir Spud in the Alpine, Nitro and Ginger Tiger in the Aston Martin. Mercedes are on 14, 1 point back with O'Stephen and Berra, which is looking like a strong lineup this season. Ferrari, the 2 Rudds, they're on 13 points, so 2 points back, the 2 Rudds, of course. And then in the 5th position at the moment is Clips and Kent on 9 points. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, hang on a minute, Pars in the Red Bull won the race. Why are Red Bull not leading the championship? That's because Pars is noted as a reserve driver. We'll see how the rest of the season goes, because it could be that he becomes a full-time driver within Tier 2 and within Tier 1. If he's able to do both races, that would be great. But we will see. I can't remember the last time we saw a driver do Tier 1 and Tier 2 at the same time in this league, from what I can recall.
Oh, well, time to change the game, I guess. But, yeah, no, it's Alpine, though, are back there at the front of the field, as they were last season. So they're kicking it strong once again. But the gap's obviously so tight, only having one race. So, you know, if it completely swings the opposite way, this Grand Prix, again, the constructors will completely shift. So that's the beauty of it. Only 8 rounds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think it's 8 rounds. Yeah, so 8 rounds, and yeah, let's see how it progresses. But Alpine definitely have the strong footing at the moment.
Yeah. It's something Jordan mentioned last night, and you've just touched upon there, is that, you know, after tonight we'll be 25% of the distance into the season, which is a huge chunk. And I know that it'd be very early to talk about championship ramifications at the moment, but next week is a sprint evening as well to add alongside to the drama. So it's not going to be easy for everyone as the formation lap gets underway. I think, Bjorn, if I'm right in saying, you should be able to retire from that point, but I'm not 100% certain if you can. You can tell us, I'd assume.
No, I cannot actually, so I'll just do one slow lap of the lights and then of course at the end of the time.
Yeah. That makes sense. What you can't see, Bjorn, is the tyre strategy. Me and ARL can see it at the moment, and what I will tell you is that out of the 19 official competing cars, 16 of those have chosen the medium tyre. Only Matty Rudd, Maras and Darrell have decided to do something different. Darrell and Maras, those two are on the soft compound tyres, that's the red wool Pirelli, and Matty Rudd is on the white wooled hard tyre, which I think, and I called this yesterday in the chat, I think that's the right tyre to start on if you're where Matty is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
As you were saying, I think definitely if you're starting the midfielder at the back, I think the Mars is definitely the way to go. As you don't really have room to overtake in this field. You maybe lose a few positions, maybe gain 1 or 2, but not a major difference. So you just have to stay the long game, wait for everyone else to pit, and then you can really gain your time. I saw yesterday by, I believe it was Jeremy Clarkson, who started on the hard, and he gained a few positions in the race. So keep an eye on Matthew Rudd.
Well, all I'll add to that is remember last week out in Bahrain, Steven starting on the hard tyres, and look how that really helped his race. So I think that's something that Matty Rudd's going to have seen and potentially going to try tonight.
Well, as Bjorn gets himself lined up, just to let you know, Bjorn, I think there's some technical issues with from your end of the headset, because it seems like we could hear you. I can hear you, and ARL can hear you, but the stream for some reason is struggling to pick it up. So it might be just a little reset. We'll try and get things working in a moment. But we have, in just a moment's time, the 5 red lights coming up here for 33 laps at Barcelona. And the race is live here at Spain. It's a cracking start from the Red Bull of Pars. He's going to be comfortably leading into turn 1. Kenzie's closing the gap down, but he's got Berra on the inside of him as they approach turn 1. Side by side they go, but Kent remains in second place. Clips is going to try and get past Hulkenberger, and that's a good overtake in these initial phases. Ruddo's right there with him. It's a bit about 3 wide almost of It's the Cat And Maras going through up into 9th place, using those soft tyres to good effect as Clips Kiri has a moment and slips down into 7th place. Ruddo had a great start. He's up to 5th, so that's a great start for the Ferrari driver. One of the Racing Bulls very wide. I think that was Madman going on the outside line as Bruce gets past him. They're still side by side as they approach turns 7 and 8. There's a yellow flag out there, and I'm going to assume that is Lion Agreesby off the road, which it is indeed, which is sad to see. Over to you, Al.
Yeah, wow. All cleanly away, a little bit of wheel banging, but luckily all good, so no risk of VSCs or safety cars. Didn't unfortunately manage to catch what happened to Lion Agreesby, but he does look to have no visible damage, so it should all be good from here on. But now the battle for the lead, Kent is very close to Paz, so game on.
Yeah, absolutely is at the moment. So Pars leading the way. Kent there in 2nd place. They've got an 8 tenths gap back to Berra, but DRS, of course, is now activated. So it's important for the front two, if they want to get away from these guys, to do it in the first sector if they can. Berra's there in 3rd, trying to hang on at the moment in the Aston Martin. Nitro and Ruddo, Hulkenberger in 6th. The 2 Haas cars go 2x2, happily for those guys. And it's Maris actually on the soft tyres. You wait to see whether she gets the call to get past It's the Cat, but with that slide through turn 4, you can't imagine that's going to be the case just yet. But the whole grid very closely strung together. Matty is going quite slowly. He's going to get overtaken by Mikey, although having said that, Mikey has a huge oversteer moment. The 2 Saubers a bit distanced from the back of the group, but Matty's got front wing damage, so not sure what's happened there. But 1st to 16th, separated by, at the moment, 8 seconds, but they're all nose to tail.
Yeah, and we saw last night, it was so difficult to overtake once in the DRS train. Track position, extremely crucial. So this is going to be important for strategy-wise. If you're on the softer compound tyre, when do you want to pit to avoid that traffic? Someone's gone round. I think it's McLaren. It is. It's JPH. It's Jordan. Jordan going round. I think he's kept it out of any barriers he has, but that's dropped him down to 16th.
Bjorn, how are we doing? Are you okay there?
Yeah, my mic should be fixed now. The issue was that I had to put it a little bit further away from my mouth because I had to get to my wheel, but it should be all fixed now.
Yeah, hopefully it sounds okay. Maris has had a nightmare out of turn number 3. She's going to lose a couple of places because they were 8th and 9th for 2 Haas cars. They're 8th and 12th now, so that moves Madman and Bruce further inside the point. It's so frenetic at the moment, it's really, really difficult to keep on top of all the action. But what I can tell you is that the top 7 have made a break for it. It's the Cat on his own in 8th place at the moment. Oh, Stephen having a good run in 9th. So those guys are kind of the separating barriers between themselves and the top 7. Interesting point to note, gents. Matty Rudd on the hard tyres. Oh, that's an impact between himself and Maras, and I don't think she'll be too pleased with that, as so Spud takes 2 places for the price of 1 thanks to that impact. I think Matty might end up in the stewards with that one. I just think it looked like 2 cars into 1 didn't really go together, but I will let the stewards sort that out. And Maras has been forced into the gravel by Darrell, and Darrell slows down to, I think, was going to let her back through, but I don't think that is the case, and Maras slowing right down, so something has gone on there.
Yeah, as that all unfolded, Mikey, unfortunately the first victim of turn 9, he's lost the rate. He went into the barrier. Luckily no VSC or safety car, but he does have damage on that Sauber, so he's going to have to live with it, and he stays out in fact, so that's going to be a challenge. But yeah, this is really turning into a DRS train here from basically first all the way up to 7. So they're all on the medium compound tyre, so they all have to equally go a similar distance, but the question is, when does one of them bolt early? Because the undercut here will be extremely powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's also another option of one of the medium runners in the compact just pit early. They still have tires to go, but by pitting early, just go on a different strategy to try and do something different. Because being stuck in a DRS train just won't get you anywhere.
Yeah, I think potentially a 2-stop in this traffic actually early on might just be a really strong play, because I think the pit lane, well, I was about to talk about the pit lane, but that's not interesting, but what is a change of leader Kent hits the front on lap 5 with a nice straightforward DRS pass on Pars, and those 5-6 drivers together. Clips is hanging on to the coattails. It's important. Clips is, you could say, gents, Clips is probably in the best place at the moment of the 7 drivers, because he can dictate what he decides to do. He doesn't have to worry about the Cat, although having said that, yes, Cat had a moment there, so let's just gap that a little bit more. But for Clips, he has the opportunity to do what he wants, and everyone has to respond to him. So an undercut, I think, is potentially the right call if he can stay with the group.
Oh yeah, 100%. He's got the most options too. That if he does something and it doesn't exactly pay off, it's not necessarily going to hurt him that much, because he's only in 7th here in this train. So he can really dictate how the front field respond, as you said. But in fact, Ruddo having very close look on the Aston Martin of Nitrogas. Nitrogas struggling for pure traction here. He's going to go into 14, down the gear, and deploys all the power he's got, but he's going to have a charging Ferrari that could be maybe in front of him by the time we reach turn 1. But there again, you see how difficult it is to get through in the head. But who does get ahead? Pars having a look, and Kent having to try and go on the inside line. Pars just so close. There's a little bit of a wheel bang with the two of them, but Pars stays ahead. There's a Red Bull onto the side there. I think that's Matty's retired car, but yellow flag unfortunately not allowing any overtakes, but Pars claims back the lead.
Take a deep breath, everybody. I don't know if either of you caught that, but the flying Sauber of Mikey going across the grass, I thought was going to wipe them both out. That was unbelievably lucky, that, to be honest with you. I'm surprised they've survived.
I was going to say something, but I thought, surely not. That's a glitch, right? It's just me, or is that what we actually see? But anyway.
Mikey's unique driving style there, clearly being a glitch. What are you seeing, Bjorn?
Yeah, I'm seeing that Matty's retired car actually blocked Cat. So Cat has completely lost the gap to Clips Curie and the front train, unfortunately.
That's a shame. Matt, we mentioned it a couple of times earlier. Matty was clearly struggling as there's another change to the lead between Kent and Pars. I feel like Berra's got a little bit more raw speed in reserve here. He's just continuing to sit on the back of them. He didn't get the best line through turns 1 and 2 then. That's put him a little bit further back. But I feel like Berra is quite well placed out of the front 3 drivers. I'm not dismissing anyone, you know, Nitro, Ruddo, former champion of course in Invictus Racing League, Hulkenberger, the reigning Tier 2 champion as well, and Clips is still there. Rightfully so, is what Bjorn said, with It's the Cat a little bit further away from that group now as a result of DXT Matty's retirement, but consistently setting some really good lap times. And It's the Cat, another one, as Ruddo is that looking, I thought he was shaping for a move, but It's the Cat demonstrating to everybody with more and more improvement, more seasons under your belt, you can make a massive gain. And I remember when Cat started, was getting lapped on the occasion, to be honest with you. Wasn't doing the best job, but running in the top 8 and closing the gap actually to the front guys, because Berra, commentator's curse everybody, has dropped down the DRS.
Yeah, but here comes Pars. Pars retakes the lead once again. So a switch into turn 1. No, contact with Kent. Well, Kent making contact with Pars, and it's put him back at the bottom of the straight, and it's going to put him into P8, maybe even P9 after this, and it does. So disaster for Kent, and luckily I hope he's gotten away with any damage, but I think he might have a little bit. It might not show, but yeah, that's unfortunate for Kent. Oh dear me.
Did you see that then, Bjorn?
No, I was actually looking on board with Pars, and I just saw him suddenly slowed down. It was just a tad bit late. But Berra now back in the DRS right after he lost the connection. So his race is definitely on.
That was a strange one there. It looked as if Pars was just trying to get the car stopped for the apex, and Kent just ran into the back of him, maybe just misjudging the speed. But as a result, it's concentrated everybody up, and It's the Cat has latched onto the back of Clips Kiri. So 2 drivers in the form of Berra and Cat, who we thought might have been distanced, have just rejoined the party. Obviously, Clips is outside of DRS, and that's Bruce and Kent in the pits as Berra hits the front.
Through in the head, but now Kent, who was originally the front runner, he's the first one to decide to go onto a new set of tyres, but surely that's committing to a 2-stopper. Ping on lap 8, I imagine that's got to be a 2-stopper coming Kent's way, but Berra now ahead. You seem to imagine that the DRS is so powerful that when Paz was cleared from any driver in front of him, he just couldn't pull away, because this whole train of cars with that rear wing open just staying with you.
I think Bjorn's best suited to respond to that, to be fair, as a current Tier 1 champion.
Yeah. Yeah, I think DRS this game might have won me the championship. It's all about saving your ERS at the right time, preserving your tires, and just abuse the DRS. I like to sit behind the leader for a long time, just save my tires, save my ERS, and then strike when it's necessary.
That's a wise words of a champion there. Just Clips having a huge slide, and into the pits he goes. So clearly coordinating that with his teammates. So it's the Cat moves up to 6th place, having a stonking drive in the Haas at the moment as the first of the track limit violations pop up. It is relatively harsh, I think, Spain, to be honest with you, on F1 25 with the track limits. So Darrell picking one up, but he has just moved onto the hard compound tyre. Just looking to see where Clips Kiri feeds out in relation to, well, IRC Bruce and Kent. He's going to be very, very close. Bruce is going to get in front of O'Stephen. Clips is actually comfortably ahead. And Kent, he's, I think, going to be about 4-5 seconds behind his teammate, who was running in that front group. So that mistake from Kent, it's cost him about 5-6 seconds.
He's trying to make amends for it now, though. He gets ahead of Line of Griesby. Nicely done through there. 1 lap old hards versus 9 lap old mediums. So clearly much better grip on the Williams driver. But Nitrogas just falling very close out of DRS range. I was keeping an eye out on that gap. He needs to stay in that because he's got the Ferrari right behind him. But he is within DRS range this time round. But the gap only 4 tenths now, and it's closing between the Red Bull and the Mercedes. The Red Bull charging down, and he takes back once again the lead of the race into turn 1.
Move that fast there. I just noticed the last few laps of Berra, especially at the start of the race actually. He's saving his tires a lot, and you see him turning off his ERS when he exits. Maybe take a higher gear, fuel performance. So I think he might be going for an overcut actually to try and make sure he can do the 1-stop. So it's interesting to see how that will work out compared to the others if they're going to do a 1-stop or 2-stop.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Sorry to say that, as we say that, Barrett having a massive tank slap on the rear end, and that's dropped him back to P5. I mean, much better than going off completely, but that's not going to help. Not going to help that fight with Paz. But what that does mean is, though, Paz is clear from any threat of DRS range, and that means as well Nitrogas now has no DRS, which allows Rudo to potentially have a chance here for P2.
Rudo is the embodiment of the driver who just has the most amount of consistency and doesn't typically put himself into any trouble, and he's got this opportunity, and I think he wants to get on with it here. Yeah, he's closing right the way down. This is going to have to be on the brakes into turn 1. That's a lovely move from the Ferrari driver. Nitro trying to fight back on the exit of 2, but Rudo slams a Ferrari-sized diffuser in his face. As a Haas round, I'm going to assume it's Maras who's gone at turn 9. So that's the second driver today who's gone around. I'm just trying to see if Maras has got any damage. She's got a lot of grass on her tyres, which is a shame. And yeah, front wing damage to go alongside it. Just looking back at our early pit stoppers as Kent gets back in front of Bruce. Clips is 25.8 seconds behind Paz at the moment. Kent is 30.2. So I've got the leading times intervals set to the race leader just to see if Clips can make any inroads on that leading quintet, because there's 5 of them. currently battling out of the front, although Pars is getting off up the road.
Yeah, like I told you, Jack, pit time loss in normal race conditions will take about 22.2 seconds, so that will not be enough to go into P1, but it might be enough for P2 as it stands.
Yeah, that does mean as well, maybe the longer though Pars stays out, the more that gap's going to close, and Nitro Gash goes back ahead of Rudder into turn 1, doing the exact same thing that Rudder did to him a lap before, and he's back into the second place position for the Aston Martin driver. But this is a good scrap going on behind here. Pars just cruising along now, but a good little fight going on behind us. Kent now sets the new fastest lap of the race, 16.1, obviously on those newer hard tyres. But one thing that is important for Pars in terms of with Clips Kiri is the tyre offset. He's probably going to go further and further to get the advantage at the end of the next stint potentially.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, at the moment, Clips is bringing the time gap down. It's steady. It's not 2-3 seconds a lap, but it is steady enough for him to bring him into play. But if Pars, Nitro, Ruddo and co all decide that they want to do the one-stop strategy as opposed to those guys on the two, it's going to put them completely out of sync. And I fear that the one-stop at the moment is looking like it's in the ascendancy, but Pars is on an absolutely different planet. He was a second quicker on that lap alone compared to Nitro, as Hulkenberger pits in the Alpine, Ruddo alongside Nitro into turn 1, and the Ferrari moves into second place again.
Some good fight between these two, but as well, when will they think about strategy? Because this can really shake things up here. But so Spud into the pits, same for Hulkenberger. We've not seen a lot of Hulkenberger so far in this race. He's not really managed to find his groove. He's just been staying back, it seems, from the fight ahead. So now he's pitted onto the hards. He's going to see what he can do. But the thing is, this is the problem. He's come out into a bit of traffic here. So it's whether he can clear them easily or not, it is going to impact you one way or another.
Yeah, Hulkenberger. Hulkenberger is having a quiet race. He's definitely involved in the fight, and he's still involved in the podium battles, but was sat in 4th and 5th places earlier, so does have JPH in front, and it's actually allowed Kent to close back to within DRS, so this sector has not been ideal. He's got the battery deployed, but he's not going to get there before turn 10. Ruddo and Nitro into the pits, so that means Berra moves up into second, which is definitely confirming a one-stop, which I think the drivers will be in this tier be able to manage from this point forward. As Matty Rudd now moves into third place, he's one to watch later on. He's going to just come out behind actually in front of Maras, who she just gets out of the way. Ruddo and Nitro incredibly close on pit exit, but Clips Kiri is in front of them, and Hulkenberg trying to go around the outside at turn 1, runs a bit wide. Kent is going to try and switch underneath at turn 2 and 3, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough, and runs out of power compared to the Alpine, who's got a bit of a blast on the ERS to pull themselves away.
Hulkenberg looking, sniffing for a potential move on Nitro Gas and Brother, but the thing is, how quickly do these two drivers kickstart their hard tyres? Because of course Hulkenberger would have had an extra lap to warm them up, and you could see there Nitro Gas going a little bit wide a few of those corners, so it's really game on. But now Kent as well, he's on the back. Oh, Kent goes onto the gravel, but nothing too bad for there. So Spud picks up a 3-second penalty. Berra though into the pits. The good thing is for Pars is because he's created that incredible gap, he can respond a few laps later, but he doesn't want to wait too late, otherwise it could mean he'll be put right back into a fight. But at the moment he's got some good pace.
Yeah, it's this battle with Kent and Hulkenberger going on at the back of the field. Matty Rudd actually was on that by Maris. He had a little bit of a moment actually in turn 10, which means Maris on fresh tyres.
And a bit of a nightmare for Kent, because he was right there. He's trying to find his way past Berra, who's literally just come out onto those new hard tyres. But again, the Mercedes has got a little bit more battery to deploy compared to the Williams and just fires themselves out of turn 3 and no trouble at all. One thing to note though out of all of this is that despite Clips having his massive wobble on the lap he pitted, that 5-lap undercut has put him 2.5 seconds clear. The question is, are the Tier 2 drivers capable, as Pars makes a pit stop, are the Tier 2 drivers capable of making 23-lap-old hard tyres come the end of this race? Can they pull it off? I'd like to believe they can, but it's going to be a challenge.
Time will tell. Time will tell, certainly. But yeah, no. I think it's possible. It looks to be cooler conditions than what it was yesterday. The question is, how much do they fight with these tyres? You need to make sure he keeps into a good window as Pars gets out just ahead of Klipskiri. But Klipskiri's in a nice little pocket here because he doesn't have too much to do for the cars behind. He does have a Red Bull now in front of him, but maybe if he could pick a bit of a DRS toe, potentially, that could be nice for Kiri.
Just fighting with the car though, isn't he, at the moment with the Williams? I've noticed this at Bahrain as well. The Clips are sliding about a little bit, and it seems to be the way that his setups are geared. But if he can hang on, he's going to be in a great position. But there is another party in the play here, and that's Matty Rudd. We haven't mentioned him, Bjorn briefly did, but Matty Rudd has hit the front, and he's got a bit to play for here because his teammates in 4th place would be delighted to see him back up this 2nd and 3rd place right into his DRS window if he possibly can. So whether Matty is going to be the joker in the Ferrari pack, we'll have to wait and see. But he's not going to pit yet for at least a few more laps, and he'll do his utmost to keep those 2 behind him so that his brother can get to the back of him.
Yeah, 17-lap all hard, so he's clearly going for the one-stopper, Matty Rudd. Rear end complaining a little bit, but just again going back on board with Klipskiri. That for an 8-lap all hard, it looks like he's just struggling for rear. It just sliding across. Just no natural downforce from the car, and that's probably setup related. As you said, in Bahrain he had the same issue. So, but the problem is now the gap has just gone, in fact, to under a second from the gap behind. As a yellow flag. I think that's Darrell having an off at turn 12. It is. And he's back on the track. But yeah, Klipskiri's got a lot of weight to it as he power slides. My word, it's looking more of a drift car.
He's having some struggles at the moment as Darrell becomes our 3rd retirement of the evening. But I did say Matty's going to try and hold him up while he's snaking all over the road, and wow, Pars can't find a way through at turn 13, so this is kind of working in Matty's favour, to be honest with you, because he has closed that gap between Clips and Ruddo, who's now on the back of DRS for the Williams in front of him. Pars is going to take the lead here. This isn't going to be a doubtful move. It's going to be straightforward.
The issue is a yellow flag, though. Can he do it?
I think he got there, you know.
He's got it, but yeah, he's giving the place back. He's giving the place back.
Wow.
He's giving the place back. This has caused chaos behind because now Ruddo through into the lead.
Joker in the pack, the Ferrari. I thought at first he'd done it in time, he hadn't, but now they're all scrabbling over the same piece of tarmac. But Ruddo picking an eye and a needle here and went straight through, and Matty Rudd continuing to play his part, winding up Klipskiri. He's going to be on the inside for turn 7. It's just going to delay the Williams more than anything else. A touch of wheel-to-wheel contact. They get through safe and sound, but Ruddo, the big beneficiary here at Barcelona, Clips all over the road, and Matty Rudd is going to throw it down the inside, I think. Oh, he's just not quite close enough. The Aston Martin and Nitro trying to go around the outside, and he will get it as Matty slides out of the corner and drops down the field. But the Joker in the pack, he's managed to do just that, hasn't he, Bjorn?
Yeah, it was the ultimate team game from Matty Rudd. Pars overtook him in a yellow flag. He had to give the back in quite stressful situation. But I'm just noticing Klipskiri has damage to his end plate, his front wing end plate. I think that happened with all the chaos in turn 3.
Ooh, well, if that is the case, that and he's understeering wide, he lets his teammate through, and if that is to be the end of Clips's run for a race victory, that is a shame because he was in the fight for a race victory. And yeah, that damage is around a track like this, which relies so much on aerodynamics. That is going to be not insignificant for him. So I fear for Clips, he might have to make another stop, and it's a double DNF for Sauber. It's been a nightmare start to the season, and Lionel Griesby packs it in after lap 20. After all the shenanigans, though, at turn 3, it's left Pars and Ruddo on their own with a 1.3 second gap to Nitro, who's having his best race in IRL for quite some time. It's really great to see him up near the front where he belongs. He's having a great time. Hulkenberger, as we said before, quietly going about his business in 4th place as Pars sets a new fastest lap. Kent has recovered to 5th despite that incident at the start, and he's putting in a good shift right now, but it's all to play for. But you feel that the race victory is going to come from one of these 5 drivers.
Oh, absolutely. I do want to mention, though, Bruce, again, sneaking up. He's up into 6th place. So this has really gone well so far for Bruce. He has DJ Madman behind, though. But DJ Madman surely going for another stopper, because those 9-lap-old mediums are not going to the end, are they?
Bjorn, you don't think the mediums can last 21 laps, do you?
No, absolutely. I hate to break his optimism if that's what he's going to try, but I assume so. His plan is.
Yeah, I think his plan is going to be over before it even wants to get started. But again, it's another good drive from Madman. He's knocking about in the points. I think when he does pit, he's going to probably fall down to just the tail end of the points, really, with Matty Rudd and Berra, who has made his second pit stop in the Mercedes. Did Berra have any contact there? Because that was as Bruce pits. So Bruce deciding he can't make those tyres last any longer. So that's going to put O'Stephen, who's again just driving for fun here, inside the top 7. What a great drive! What a great season he's having so far.
Yeah, no, after Bahrain, he's really kicked things up. As O'Stephen, but I'm surprised by that. 12 laps only done on Bruce's set on the hard tyre. It's a bit odd, but he's got a fresh set of mediums now. He should come out just ahead of Berra, and he will do, as Berra might have a look around the outside, but can't do anything around. But Berra's got some warmed up tyres, so can he get better traction swooping around turn 3? It looks to be a little bit too far back, so he's going to have to deal with getting through McLaren if he wants to get any closer to the points. But yeah, that's a surprising one.
Yeah, I think what Bruce thought was that he realized on my tires I can't go in the end with these hards, so I might as well pit now and make the most of the last thing. I think that's what his thought process.
Yeah, that does make a bit of sense as Berra runs wide thanks to the wash from the car in front. But at the front, Ruddo is going to take the lead of the race, so he hits the front for the first time in season 22, and that's a clean DRS overtake. But Ruddo is a conscious driver. He's not someone who doesn't have a racing brain. He'll be aware that he doesn't want to fight too much with Pars. 1.5 seconds is the gap between themselves and Nitro in second place. Any sort of trappings and fallings about and little bits of contact are going to pull Nitro and Hulkenberger right into the fight. I think Kent has had a wobble somewhere, and he's just dropped off the DRS package of the Alpine in front of him. Then it's all changed a little bit more because O'Stephen has now pitted. So I thought O'Stephen was going to go to the end on the hard tyres. He's decided that's not the case. So Madman in 6th position with It's the Cat now back in 7th. Is It's the Cat going to be on for a 6th place? I mean, that would, if he can make those tyres last 18 laps, which is entirely plausible. What a result! I think that would be It's the Cat's best ever result in IRL, if memory serves me correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think best has been maybe an 8, but anyway, here comes Paz. As I say that, Paz gets through in the head of Ruddo in claims back once again into turn 1, the lead of the race. But yeah, no, that'll be incredible. As actually, as I say, that DJ Madman into the pit. So now that's 6th place for It's the Cat. And I wouldn't exactly take out of the equation that maybe Kent might have to come in again, because he's already done 15 laps on this set. He's going to have to go a long way again for another 10 laps, as there's a McLaren off. I think that's Jordan, unfortunately.
It is.
It's not been a night for Jordan to remember, but he comes into the pit lane and hopefully sets a new set on as he crawls into it. No risk of a penalty there, but yeah, this has not gone the way for Jordan. But so far for Bruce, though, he's in the points, so a better result at the moment than last week, and he's fighting with Berra for P9.
I just want to I'd like to point out Matthew Rudd again. Was the only hard starter over the pack. I'm gonna assume he doesn't have a stop to make. He's in P8 already. He started in P12, so that's a major gain from him.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good position to be in, and up 4 spots, like you say. So Spud's up 6 places as well. I'd assume so Spud wouldn't have to pit again either. So Spud's had a very quietly strong race in this one. He does have a penalty to his disadvantage. It is a 3 seconds. So at the moment, he's going to drop behind, very close to dropping behind Matty Rudd on the virtual timings. He's also going to have a job to do to try and keep all the medium shod runners behind him as Bruce looks at the back of Berra in the Mercedes. I also wanted to point out, Stephen going past clips Kiri, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy between the two of them. There's an Alpine round. That's Hulkenberger. That is a strange place to have gone off the road. I wonder if Hulkenberger's put a wheel on the grass. Did either of you two catch that? Because that was a strange place to have gone at turn 8. Well, before turn 8, really.
Unfortunately not. Yeah, no, he's clear of any damage, visible damage, so yeah, maybe so easy to do, you know, just a little bit of grass and that car will go around with no problem. But no, I mean, he's in B5. I think he's okay, he's off the pack, but could have been a lot worse. I still think he's on for some good points here, is Hulkenberger. But I wanted to go back to the front, not exactly the front two. Nitrogas has been doing an incredible job, despite, you know, I think Hulkenberger was actually the one right behind Nitrogas, but he was keeping Hulkenberger at bay, despite, you know, the Alpine having DRS consistently each lap. So he's done very well, and at the moment he's on for a podium finish tonight.
Yeah, he's driven excellently. It's been really strong from him. I have noticed, obviously, the gap between Pars and Ruddo. One thing I wanted to say was that Pars was trying to break DRS before and was burning as much battery as possible. He's done the job, but it's a question of whether he can maintain it. I know that Bjorn has accidentally left the session, so I'll get Bjorn back in just so that you can see what's going on. But the gap over 3/10 now, and I just wonder, has Ruddo got anything to try and strike back at the Red Bull? I'm looking at the battery situation, and I won't say anything in particular, but it's quite tight between the two, and I think it'll all come down to battery management in the next few laps. Nitro there, Kent in 4th place, Hulkenberger in 5th, and then Sir Spud now has a queue of cars behind him over the fight for 7th place. And Spud, of course, he doesn't have to let anybody through. He's fighting over this position. You never know, he might be able to get that penalty removed. But Matty blasting down the straight. Is he going to be close enough to send one down the inside? He does, makes contact, and has to relinquish that potential overtake. So Matty wanted to get on with it, but couldn't find a way through. And this might be the flashpoint of the race here with 6 to go.
Right. This is it. You've got 6 laps, whatever's left in the tyres, give it your all. But Matty Rudd not able to find a way through onto Sir Spud. Yeah, he's going to have to try and wait around next time around. It's so difficult though, that's the thing. And if you don't get a good enough drive out of turn 13 and 14, it's so difficult to then try and make that overtake into turn 1. But Matty Rudd nearly having Berra right up the rear end of that Ferrari, but he's clearing ahead. But actually, it's just about struggling to get the traction down, and that's brought Matty Rudd right back on to this little fight. But I imagine he's surely close enough this time round to get the move done. But turn 14 is where we come up to next. That drags you off wide, the dirty, and you can see how it does for the Ferrari. And in fact, Berra's not far off here as well. So could this be multiple places lost for Sir Spud? Sir Spud stays to the left hand side, to the outside. Here comes Berra though. Berra's going to have a little look as well on the Alpine, and Berra does get ahead. What about Bruce? Bruce just eyeing out for potential overtake, but he has to sit back for the remainder. But Berra and Matty Rudd now clear of Sir Spud.
I'm just wondering, Bjorn, did you get I was just about to say, did you get back in? And there he is. He's going to get back in and comment on the proceedings in a few moments' time. But Sir Spud, I think those hard tyres, he's done a solid job today. I think he's going to score points. It's going to be close because now that he's been overtaken by the Ferrari and the Mercedes as Bruce runs very wide at turn 9, he's got the McLaren, and he has, as Berra goes through, he's got DJ Madman on the soft tyre, and kind of pushes Bruce into the gravel at turn 10. Turn 10. So that's that might be one that gets chatted about later on. Aaron's not typically the type of driver to force one off the road, so he might have got that a little bit skew with. But behind those two, you've got O'Stephen trying to close up the gap too. So for Spud, it might be a fight for 12th place at the minute, because that 3-second time penalty, as I have referred to earlier, is going to drop him from inside the top 10, potentially down to 12th place. And if he's not careful, Clips will get him as well.
Yeah, I think, have we seen this Clips gear is still running with that damage? I think.
I'm just trying to...
No, he's not. He has an end plate, so he must have, he would have come in quite a few laps ago when he picked that up, so that's why he's sitting down in P13. So at least the damage is cleared off that Williams, but it's pulling him out the back end. But he's going to see what he's got left in the tank, but no, he's just a little bit too far at this moment in time. Madman picks up a penalty. As the laps have been unfolding, I don't want to say anything, but Nitro Gas has been slowly but surely closing in on Rudd over here. Could we, with what would be 4 laps to go, including this one, could he maybe get to have a little bit of a fight for P2? I mean, Nitro Gas, he's closing down.
I'll cut to Bjorn in a moment. I was watching Madman go around the outside at turn 13, gets it all wrong, and in fact he's going to give Bruce the opportunity, but I think Madman's going to stay in front because he's got the draft from the car in front, and if he's sensible about this, he might be able to make that lunge down into turn 1, and that was nice and late on the brakes. And the Racing Bull moves into 9th position, but did pick up a time penalty as Sir Spud gets the line a little bit wrong, and he moves down into 11th. This is a shootout, I think, between Spud and Clips for the last points paying position. Bjorn, hopefully you're back into the lobby now and you can see everything. What it is Sir Spud really struggling. Nitro 1.7 behind Ruddo. Do you think he'll catch him?
Well, I've been eyeing them for the last couple of laps. I don't think so, because Nitro Gas does gain some time on Ruddo in the first half of the lap, but loses more than he gains in the second half of the lap. So ultimately he's actually losing time, and especially as one of the only overtaking spots on the track is the main straight. I don't think he'll get close, and definitely not the chance to overtake him. But maybe Rudder can make a mistake, or Nitro just activates another level. Who knows?
Yeah, can he turbo boost his way up to the back of the Ferrari, who's on for a podium finish, which I think he'll be pretty chuffed with, to be honest with you. Bruce looking at the inside of Madman briefly, and O'Stephen has passed Sir Spud, who's picked up another time penalty. So I think unless Clips has a bit of a nightmare in the next couple of laps, I think unfortunately for Spud, and it's been a valiant effort, he's going to just slip out of the points here and end up in what looks to be 13th place. You were right though, Nitro, he does close up. Rather, Bjorn, you were right about Nitro. It is 1.3, 1.4, but then He just can't latch on any closer, and we're going to be moving on to the penultimate lap any moment now.
Yeah, it's going to be close between Hulkenberg and Kent though. Hulkenberg is almost within that 1 second. He's got 5 lap pressure tires on Kent, so we might see a big last lap battle here.
Could see both of them having a lot of traction issues as well at the same time, because they're both practically dead tyres, 23 and 18 lap old hard, so they're not the freshest bunch on the track, but they're going to be a bit of a struggle. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm amazed Kent's gone 23 laps and he's kept this pace quite consistent, quite strong so far. But he's got a charging Alpine trying to claw back it way up. But yeah, no, Nitro Gas just closing up enough to make any real indent to that second place. But as we've all been speaking, Powers has just been absolutely cruising ahead. He is still there, don't worry, we've not shown him much, but he's just doing the job that he needs to be done.
Yeah, he's having a fantastic race. It's going to be, accident permitting, 2 wins on the spin for the Red Bull team. So Mecky's team principal's going to be fantastically happy about that as he rounds the final corner to go on to the last couple of miles of this wonderful race circuit here in Barcelona. Ruddo and Nitro 1.4 seconds. It's going to be close, but I don't think it'll be close enough. Kent, he's 6/10 clear of Hulkenberger, so it's all going to come down to battery. But if I'm being honest, they both have, well, at the start of the lap they did have the same amount, but Hulkenberger's closing. He's going to have this one opportunity to go down the inside, and he goes through, but he braked way too late, rightfully pointed out Bjorn, and Kent takes that place back.
Yeah, go big or go home. Sometimes you got to say to yourself, he didn't have really much to lose in that. It was all controlled, just a lock up on that front tire. But oh, actually, someone's off.
Yeah, Jordan's hit the wall
on the final lap. What a shame. Oh dear, it's not been Jordan's race at all tonight. But oh dear, that's not gone well. But Bruce, so at least one McLaren still in the points.
Well, Pars is going to come round the last couple of corners. Turn 12 navigated safely. Turn 13 he breezes on through. A little bit of battery usage as well. Why not to show off at the end? It's a second race victory here in Tier 2 for Pars at Barcelona. Ruddo picks up a podium in second place. A great drive from Nitro to finish third. Kent's recovery drive is going to end up with 24 lap old tyres and a 4th place to boot, just from Hulkenberger. My driver of the day, though, coming around the corner in 6th place. What a performance this is from It's the Cat. Outstanding achievement for him, with his teammate following behind a lap down. Berra is going to hang on to 7th from Matty Rudd. That was a nice little fight over 7th there. Madman will drop, not from 9th place. We'll see where he ends up. Bruce will be 9th. O'Steven 10th. Madman 11th. Clips scoring the last point. So Spud crosses the line in 13th place. What a race, gents.
Yeah, no, that was wow, action everywhere you look, left, right and centre. So no, it's incredible. Tier 2 is consistently and always delivering. It's just incredible to see. But once again, 2 in a row, 2 out of 2, this man on top step of the podium. And yeah, I think he's definitely eyeing out on the Tier 1 drive potentially sooner rather than later with this level of performance. So yeah, but yeah, at the moment, unstoppable.
What do you think, Bjorn? Should we get him in for Monday?
I'd love to see him on track. I think he's got plenty of potential to fight for some high level of points. Let's see why not.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there's all of your information on the screen there with Parsley race winner. Barra getting the fastest lap as well, so that'll be a bit of a bonus. Kent getting cleanest driver. My goodness, I never thought I'd see the day. Overtakes most of all going to Matty Rudney. Got driver of the day according to the game, but for me it goes to It's the Cat. Those are your provisional race results in front of you. I already covered those in the slowdown. Jordan will be classified in 15th place because he did 90% of the track distance. Lion agrees with Daryl, Mikey and DXT. Matty sadly retiring from the session in the end, which is a great shame for those guys. But next week, it's a better opportunity for them to move on into round 3, which will be not at Suzuka, which is what the calendar says it is. It is actually Austria next week, but let's blame the race overall IRL director for that little error, shall we call it. But it is actually Austria for round 3 of the sprint next week. I'll pass over to you, gents, to give us some final comments. But for you two, what were your favourite moments in the race, and have you got a particular driver of the day?
Well, I don't know. Bjorn, you want to go first, or myself?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to say my driver of the day and also my favorite moment both have to do with Matty Rudd. The fact that Bars overtook Matty Rudd, who was doing an extreme overcut in yellow flags, meaning that he had to give it back to position and causing absolute chaos and helping his teammates suddenly jump from P4, I think it was, to P1 in 2 turns. That's gotta be my favorite moment.
Yeah, I can't lie. That was going to be mine as well. I think it was just incredible. That's the beauty of it. It can just shift from one corner to the other, and I don't think any of us expected that to happen. But no, the fighting between the 2 Ferrari drivers, it definitely helped the team wise, of course, as well for the constructors, because that, of course, important and crucial to score these points, because, of course, like you said, only 25% into the season now, so each race is going to be ever more crucial to pick up these points.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to end up on the YouTube shorts, to be honest with you, between that moment, because it was fantastic. It did really spice up the race and gave Ruddo the opportunity to fight for the race win in those medium parts of the race. So looking forward to reliving that moment later on in the week. So that's going to be fab to see again. But as ever, Tier 2 giving us a lot more action than we ever expect, and we always expect a lot from Tier 2. His par's going to be racing on Monday, and we're going to put it to him, see if he can get involved for that sprint event that will be happening at Austria for round number 3. But from ARL, it's goodbye. Normally this is the point where you say
thank you, and tune in next week. Thank you.
Also goodbye to Bjorn.
Yeah, thank you. Hope to see you guys next week.
It's goodbye from me, Jack TM53, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one, and we'll see you next week for round 3 around Austria.